Yes, people, how we all doing? So welcome to another edition of Behind the Bars TV. Hope everyone is fit and well. So I've just been down at HMP Garth, as you can see there behind us, visiting a pal who I've known for 20 years, who I was up in HMP Franklin with, and I've kept in touch ever since. So when I'm getting inside the car, I've accidentally knocked the video off, so I've had to continue it when I've getting home. So I've been talking to my pal who was inside HMP Garth. Had a good visit with him yesterday, and I thought I would do a video whilst I was there, but unfortunately I knocked the fucking thing off. But never mind. So I was going to talk a few different things about inside Garth Prison. One of them that I was talking about was, it was actually not classed, but the inspectors said it was like an airport. Obviously, what they've referred to there is when the inspectors were in a couple of weeks ago, in an unannounced inspection, there was drones flying into the prisons as they were actually doing the inspections. Now, for any of you that aren't familiar with this is how the inmates get their possessions that they want, that are illicit. So the drones fly them into the prisons, and what the inspectors had seen when they were doing the inspections is some of the prison cells had massive gaping holes in the windows where the prisoners obviously smashed holes in, put their arms through, and obviously when the drone flies in, they grab the package off the bottom of the drone. Now, the majority of the prisons up and down the country at the minute are in an absolute shit state, and they're absolutely flooded with drugs. And as you can imagine, full of drugs, full of violence, understaffed, overcrowded. The places are a fucking shithole at the minute, and they're not very good places to be in, either for the screws who are getting battered on a regular occasion, or the prisoners, the ones who are just wanting to get on with the time. But if you're in there and you're wanting to make a few quid, then prison is fucking luxury for you at the moment, especially if you're wanting to get off your heat as well, because there's absolutely fucking all sorts inside these prisons at the moment, up and down the country, that is. And I'm not just talking about Garth, because I've been talking to a few lads in different prisons, and every prison is the same at the moment. It's not something that people don't know about. This is common knowledge all over, unless you're somebody who has nothing to do with prisons and you're hearing information on channels like this. But whilst I'm talking about HMP Garth, I will talk about the visits on the way in. It is actually a decent prison to get in for visits. We got in straight away. We were quite early for the visits, so we got booked in, went away, came back to the visitors centre, and we were actually cracking on with a few of the visitors, and a couple of them that were in visiting people inside of Garth. There was 3 females that I spoke to, and they all said they watched my channel. They said, as I was walking towards the visitors centre, they were saying to each other, I'm sure I recognise that lad. It's him off YouTube and off that documentary that he was in. So thanks for watching, you lot. Thanks for your subscribing and your continuing support. But getting into Garth, it was quite easy going. The visits are easy going. They've got a decent coffee, and they've got a good set of lads working in the coffee. So that's what I will say about that prison. But I'm also going to talk about Wayne Gregory, who I've done a video on previously. I will put the link at the end of this video, so when you come to the end, you can scroll up and click on the video that I've done on Wayne. And Wayne is IPP, and the poor lad is in a shit state inside of that prison. He's cut himself up a lot of times, and his nickname in the prison is the Joker, or not the Joker, but Joker. So when you're referring to him, or anyone saying, has anyone seen Joker, they're referring to Wayne, because he's cut big gaping wounds up his face to make himself look as though he's smiling, because he's that down and depressed with the IPP, and he's been in, coming up, I can't remember exactly, but have a look on the video. It was about 18 years. I do that many different stories and interact with that many different prisoners. Can't remember the exact figures, but he's been in about 18 years on his IPP, 15 to 18 years, I can't remember exactly. But He only had a four-year tariff, I believe it was. And he's been there all this time, suffering with his mental health, tried to take his life on numerous occasions, and he is actually up for parole again this week. Hopefully, he will get a good move. He'll probably go to Category C. He has been to Cat D previously, but they sent him back because of his issues, which is an absolute shit state what is going on. Even the screws in there don't agree with it, and they are backing him. So he has got support, but it doesn't do very much for him when he can't get released, where he should be inside a mental hospital getting proper help, because the IPP has got him absolutely trashed. That sentence that was abolished in 2012, which was deemed inhumane, should no longer exist. Luckily for myself, mine was terminated. I'm no longer under that barbaric sentence. But unfortunately, the likes of Wayne and thousands of others are still serving that sentence, and it's a never-ending nightmare. So Wayne is inside these walls of HMP Garth, fighting for his life and fighting for his freedom. So hopefully he will get some good news, but I will keep you updated because I have been emailing Wayne and he's been sending them back. I will also put his email in the description, not his email, sorry, his details, his address here for HMP Garth and his prison number. So if you can, go on to email a prisoner and you can interact with Wayne. He is now, because in there they have laptops, so when he gets an email, it comes through on the laptop after it's been processed. Then he can reply to that sheet if you put a reply sheet on. So anyone who has sent him them previously, he did say thank you very much. And if you can keep sending them some support, he will get back to you. But also inside that prison, when I was having a look on stories inside of HMP Garth, it didn't say who the inmate was, but a prisoner has just this month been hot watered, they call it napalm as well, where it's hot water full of sugar or whatever other substances that can put in to inflict the more severe burns and injuries on the inmates. And that happened this month. He was then put on protection and he got hot watered on protection. Now, I did get that a little bit mixed up. Forgive me for my mistakes. I've got that many stories coming up. What actually happened was he was done in, then he was put on the VP wings, which is the protection wing, the bacon wings. So these prisoners that get into trouble, it probably would have been through drug debts, and he's been put on the VP wings, and that is where he's been attacked, believe it or not, with the hot water, with the napalm attack. He's been hot watered on the VP wings, and this will probably have been off another death head, because the situations in them prisons, what happens is, if someone gets deaded up, they run down onto the numbers, what they call it the numbers inside a prison. They then think that they're getting protected because they're on the protection wing. But if this person is wanted to be got at seriously, then one of the death heads that's down there, they'll get a message to them, say, listen, your debt will be scrubbed, you can get back up here if you get at him. Get him jugged, get him hot watered, and then you can redeem yourself, get back up here. That's what they say sometimes to try to get at them. Then once he gets got, he thinks that he's all right, he comes up onto the main location, then he'll be getting got again because obviously he ran off in the first place. So that's not going to redeem you. If you've been run onto the numbers, obviously you've done that favour. Probably we got a bit of fucking paper spice sent down to do it. So just because you're on the numbers doesn't mean you're protected. The majority of violent offences or violent murders in the high security estates have happened on the numbers, on the bacon wings. The bacons are getting bashed. But yes, I thought I would just bring you them couple of stories about what's going on inside HMP Garth. The prison is on its arse, so to speak, but it's overcrowded, understaffed, And when I say it's on its arse, what I mean by that is there's been 7 inmates committed suicide this year, and it's whilst being on restricted regime, and they're on restricted regime because the prison is overcrowded. And like I mentioned, the screws are getting battered on a regular basis. But it's not, obviously, it's not their fault that the prison is understaffed, because they should have plenty on standby when things are happening where the screws can't come in or whatever. They should have that prison at a place or in a regime where that it should never have to go into restricted regime as though they're still in the COVID regime. Because during COVID, I was banged up myself, and it was 23 and a half hour bang up some days. Sometimes you're banged up for 36 hours. So when things are supposed to be running smoothly, running as normal, and you're in a restricted regime like this, and you've got 7 inmates who've committed suicide, and you've got hundreds of other inmates going mental, crawling the walls because they're not getting out for association or going out to associate with the other lads and get a bit of exercise just to clear their minds. As you can imagine, stuck in that pad, they're going fucking mental. And when they're getting out on association, some of them just can't cope and they're fucking banging the screws out. Sometimes because the screws are pissed off themselves because of the regime. There's a lot of tension going on, so you can imagine the confrontations that's happening, and the prisons or the prisoners are fucking going mental, and these are the consequences of what's happening. So that's what I mean when I say the prison is on its arse. It's on its arse because of what the inspectors have said as well, because of the regime. Get the regime running back to normal and things will be running smoothly, and the prisoners and the staff won't be at each other. But I just thought I would bring you that because obviously I've just been in there for a visit, and I was going to do a full walk around, but as I said, it got fucking knocked off accidentally. But I'll leave that one there for now, people. I've got plenty of more content coming up, and as usual, if you are enjoying the content, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Take care, everyone.